We have liftoff, and you will have liftoff too when you are playing Rokket Kozmo. It's not as good as Draco Kozmo, but it is arguably more consistent and gives you better extra deck plays to allow you to make pretty strong boards going first, in addition to being able to break boards going second. Is it Dynamite Knight? No, it is not. But Draco Berserker of the Tenyi is quite the card, and it is incredible when paired up with Dark Destroyer. Without further ado, I would like to present to you guys my June 2020 Rokket Kozmo deck profile. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, Thunder Jake Studios, coming at you with another spicy deck profile. And you already know that we have Rokket Kozmo, as I previously mentioned. So yeah, this deck is pretty good going first. It's not as great going second as Draco Kozmo was, but I feel like this deck is just more balanced at what it does. It can also grind for longer, which is another plus. So, I'm not going to waste any of your guys' time. Let's get right into the profile, starting off with the monsters. We got the one Eclipser. Just like before, he hasn't changed. He's untargetable, he negates traps, and he floats a level 8 or lower Kozmo to your hand. Pretty good. 3 of the DANK man himself. Dark Destroyer is an incredible card. On normal special summon, pops a monster on the field, is also untargetable, and floats down when it's destroyed into a level 7 or lower Kozmo monster from your deck. The level 7 of choice, and the only level 7 that Kozmo has, unfortunately, is the Forerunner. This card is alright. It's not great, but I think you still have to run it in 2020. It's Dark Destroyer Jr. It's untargetable, which is another plus, and during the standby phase you gain 1,000, which doesn't come up a lot, but I mean, if we're trying to grind, this card is nice for it. And I mean, 2800 and untargetable is still very difficult for a lot of decks to get rid of. A lot of people are playing Striker right now, and Striker doesn't have an out to Avermax, so they won't have an out to these. That's it for the untargetable ships. For the targetable ships, we have the one Landwalker. I really didn't want to run this card, but it actually has a lot of utility. Basically what this card does is if a Kozmo card you control would be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can destroy a different Kozmo card instead. That's all it does, so basically it just transfers destruction, but it's actually really nice when combos off with like Dark Lady. So if you have this and Dark Lady, even if they attack over the Dark Lady, you can just destroy this instead and then float down, because Dark Lady doesn't float, so you want her to stay on board as long as possible. So it's just a nice utility card, and it is dark, which is important for something that you will see later. Last ship that we've run is just the double copies of Slip Rider, MST on legs, 2300 attack, level 5. It's just pretty good. I don't think I want to run 3 of it still. I was wanting to cut it to 1, but because we have more of an emphasis on Tin Can in this deck, you have to run 2 just so you always have one. That's it for ships. For the pilots, we have the one Dark Lady. I still can't decide if I want to run 1 or 2. But I think 1 is pretty good because it can be a bit clunky in tandem with like the back row that we're running. But this card is just incredible. Pay 1,000 to negate the activation of opponent's monster effect and destroy it. It's so good, and she is huge. 2200 attack is actually really annoying these days, especially when you have like a negate to back it up. Plus like Dark Destroyer, it's insane. Then we have one Farm Girl, OTK Enabler. Nothing else needs to be said there. Just attack and search a Dark Destroyer. One Strawman. I really wanted to run 2, and I was running 2, but honestly, you don't have the space for it. This deck is incredibly tight. As it is, I'm not running Nibiru or Dark Ruler, which I probably should be, but that's a whole nother topic for another time. But regardless, this card's still really nice, being able to recur all of your banished cards. Being able to recur all of your banished monsters. It does not get back banished Cosmojos or Cosmo Towns, which will be important later. And then the last Kozmo that we run is just the double Tin Can. I was really debating between 2 or 3 of this. I think 2 is fine, but just for the versatility of getting the third one, there's a spell we're playing later on that I will show you. But yeah, this card is the heart and soul of this deck in the monster department. Just pay 5, reveal 3 Cosmos a different name, add 1, send the other 2 to grave. Super good in this deck. However, we do still have a few more monsters because, like I said, we're playing Rokket ships. We have 2 Tracer. This card is incredible. During either player's turn, target a face-up card you control, destroy it, and special summon a Rokket from your deck. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters in the extra deck except dark monsters. That is a little bit of a downside. If it didn't lock you into that, we could be playing the level 3 and then make Dawn Dragster with Dark Lady, which would be incredible. But regardless, this card is still nice, being able to destroy your face-up Cosmo Towns, destroying your Dark Destroyers, Landwalkers, Slip Riders, just to float down. It's incredible. And originally I was just playing the Magna Rocket Dragon, which I think is probably the best target because not only is it level 4, which lets you get into Draco Berserker, but its effect is also really nice because if you then link off this into Striker Dragon, you can target this and then like the Rocket Tracer Engrave to destroy this and then add back the Rocket Tracer, and then chain this to just get rid of stuff the Dart Destroyer doesn't out, because this thing is basically a Dingirsu for monsters. It's so good. But when you open this, it doesn't feel good, so we had to play a second target. I didn't want to play 2, so I played a Silver Rocket. This gives you more plays going first because you can also, going first, make the Striker Dragon, target this, and then rip apart the opponent's extra deck, which is incredible. So if they're playing, I don't know, Synchron Eldritch, guess what? You rip out their Needle Fiber or their Auroradon, and they just kind of want to punch you in the face. Simple as that. That's it for monsters. I'm pretty sure it is 18. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I can't count. Going into spells, the other heart and soul of the deck is Kozmo Town. This card became a lot more important when Diagram was banned, and it's super important in this variant of the deck. So basically it is a magical mallet that is not hard once per turn by shuffling in Kozmo monsters, so it's not great. But it also recurs banished Kozmo monsters by targeting the banished ones and then adding them back to hand, but you lose life points equal to their level times 100. So that's pretty good, but the most important effect is that when it's destroyed, it floats into a Kozmo card, not just a monster, so you can search like your trap cards. It can search another copy of itself, which is just incredible. It's so good that we're playing the Terraforming. You want to see this card as often as possible with your Rockets. It's amazing. Then we have the other heart and soul of the deck in the spells, which is the Quick Launch. Quick Launch Kozmo Town feels amazing. All this does is it's just an E-Telly for Rocket monsters, which doesn't sound like much upfront until you realize that Rocket Tracer is a card. So you just special summon this for free, and then you just activate the Tracer, target the town to pop it, and then town's gonna search. It's so good. Triple Allure of Darkness. I wasn't playing this when I first built this deck, but I think you have to. Draw power is super important because sometimes this deck can brick, just like it, because Cosmos are similar to Monarchs where you have the bigs and the littles, and if you open too many of one or the other, it does not feel good. So you just have to dig, and this card's the best for doing that. Then for the last of spells, we have 1 Reasoning, 1 E-Telly, 1 for 1. These are all effectively do similar things. These two obviously you get to choose. This one's exclusively for tin can, so this was the third tin can I was alluding to earlier. This card is dumb though, because if you hit Dark Destroy, it's so free. And then 39 cards, we're playing Upstart. Again, you just need to draw cards, dig deeper into your deck to get to your engines and get them going as fast as possible. Trap cards, we're not just playing Draco traps because we have access to Trap Trick. This card is incredible in this deck. You have access to a powerhouse of different normal traps, ranging from Cosmojo, which is a non-targeting removal for a card or monster. No, I lied. It is a card that your opponent controls or in their graveyard, so it's either a DD Crow or a Dingirsu. You have access to Back to the Front, which is basically just called a Haunted for defense. And then you also have access to Storm Dragon's Return, which just, oh, I don't know, especially summons a banished Dark Destroyer and then returns it to hand during the end phase. So that's it for the main deck. 40 cards in the main. The extra deck really doesn't matter too much, and I actually don't have it on me. Apologies for that, but I just wanted to get you guys this video as fast as possible because it is just super nice that this deck is actually fairly affordable now. Obviously, like yeah, Cosmojo's still like 14 or 15, but other than that, this deck is actually really cheap. The only thing I could really recommend would be like Striker Dragon, obviously, and then like a bunch of different just Link 2s, Link 3s, Tool Lock monsters, and of course like your Draco Berserker, because that is an important part of your turn 1 board. But that's it. That's just about all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.